Nigerians. What that means is that we're really asking today, should we accept that 3 out of 5 Nigerians cannot be ethical because they are poor? That's today's debate. Should we expect that 3 out of 5 Nigerians cannot, in capital letters, be ethical because they are poor? I want to hear your honest opinions about this. How much ethical behavior should we expect from people in the face of poverty? Is dignity in poverty a realistic standard? Think about it, give me a call, and share your thoughts. 0700-993-993-993 0700-993-993-993. We also have WhatsApp. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. Now you're wondering what ethics are. Ethics are moral principles that govern a person's behavior. That's what that is. Right? The rational justification for our moral judgments. Is this thing morally right? Is it morally wrong? Is it just? Is it unjust? So how you interact with nature, how you interact with other human beings, how you interact with freedom, with responsibility, with justice. Is it morally right? Is it morally wrong? The moral philosophy of a person. Is dignity in poverty a realistic standard? How much ethical behavior should we expect from people in the face of poverty? Should we accept that 3 out of 5 Nigerians cannot be ethical because they're poor? Women, call us on 01465-7190. 01465-7190. Hello, thanks for calling us. Hello.
Hello, good day.
Good evening. What's your name, sir?
I'm Timothy from Alimosho.
Timothy, what do you think?
I want to contribute.
Yes, what do you think?
Poverty does not have anything to do with ethnic at all. It depends on the mindset of the person and then exposure, and then depends on how the person is brought up.
Okay.
It doesn't have anything to do with poverty or we are rich.
Okay.
Neither to be poor or to be rich.
Okay.
So that's my opinion.
So you're saying that we should expect dignity from a poor person?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for calling. 99.3. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for calling. What's your name, sir?
I'm Excel.
Welcome. What do you think?
I think we can actually expect almost anything from anyone.
Okay.
Because if people feel like, oh, we shouldn't expect dignity from someone who is poor, then when exactly can we expect dignity from them? Because people who are poor, they will steal, and then they'll have more money, and then they'll think, oh, I don't have enough money, and then they'll steal more. And then they'll be rich, and then they'll still steal. Like, I feel like when it comes to morals, you need to have a limit. So if someone has dignity and they are poor, even if they are rich or even if they're like middle class, they will still have dignity. So yeah, I would personally say just keep to like sensible morals. So that regardless of how much money that one has, it wouldn't matter because like the morals are quite unshakable.
Oh, okay, all right. Thanks for calling. 99.3. Welcome to the debate. What's your name? Hello. What's your name?
Yeah, Sandra. This is Chinenwa.
What do you think?
So, there's one Igbo said, I don't know what Igbo that said it, but I said, only the draw for him.
Okay.
So, how come the two cannot go now? When you feel your belly. Some people, but me, it doesn't go that way. Because I know that if your upbringing is, you're morally you have a moral upbringing. Poverty will not affect it.
Okay.
Some people go the way I'm saying now. You understand?
Okay, all right. She says an angry man is a madman, a hungry man is an angry man, and it's a person that is full that will be filled with the spirit. Okay, all right. If you just tuned in, should ethics be adjusted for poverty? Should ethics be adjusted for poverty? We're having a real conversation, an honest conversation. And we're having this conversation thanks to Somaga. Somaga is a listener who is always calling, always contributing. And one day he called me and he said, Sandra, a politician said to us, if they offer you money to vote for them, collect the money and vote for who you like. And he was asking me, what do you think about that? And I said to him, I think it's unethical. I think that you shouldn't collect money to vote for anyone for many reasons. Number one, it's an unethical thing to do because it's not bribe. You're collecting bribe. Whether or not you do what you collected the bribe for or not, you accepted a bribe. Number two, vote selling is a crime. It's illegal in Nigeria to sell your vote. You could go to jail for selling your vote. Number three, the money that you collected as a bribe is probably stolen money from the public purse. And so I said, I don't think that it is moral or ethical to accept money for votes, whether or not you vote for the person. And some people disagreed with me. They said, it's unfair. People are hungry. Are you telling me that I'm fighting to eat food and someone offers me money, I should not take it when I'm hungry? You can't preach ethics and morals to me on an empty stomach. Others said, nah. No matter how hungry you are, no matter how empty your stomach is, there's dignity in poverty. And so today, we're discussing this. And I'm saying to you that Nigeria's National Bureau of Statistics says that 3 out of 5 Nigerians are affected by multidimensional poverty. So should we accept that 3 out of 5, if you're listening to me in a car right now and it's a car that is a 5-seater, the driver, the passenger sitting in front and the 3 passengers that are sitting in the back, 3 out of 5 of you are affected by multidimensional poverty. If people are listening to me on a bus, I don't know how many seaters the bus is, but 3 out of every 5 people in that bus are affected by multidimensional poverty. If you're listening to me in a salon, in a bank, in a hall somewhere, in a restaurant, wherever you're listening from, if you look around and there are 5 people, 3 out of 5 of you affected by multidimensional poverty. So what we're really asking today, should we accept that 3 out of 5 Nigerians cannot be ethical because they're poor? How much ethical behavior should we expect from people in the face of poverty? Is it realistic? Is it a realistic standard to expect dignity in poverty? Women, call us on 01465 7190. 01465 7190. Men, call us on 0700 993 993 993. Hello, thanks for calling us.
Hello, Sandra.
Good to have you on the show. What's your name?
Godman.
Welcome, Godman. What do you think?
I want to say, first of all, I thought you would have defined the poverty. There are different types of poverty, but I think we understand what you're talking, the kind of poverty you're talking about. Then after saying that, I'd like to say, it's not ethical to do that. But, okay, let me give you an example. A radio station, you guys will take, we know that the candidate is not a good candidate. It brought so much problem for us. So we take their heart. You are taking the money from them, advertising them. And yet, we know that these are not the right people. So we will call that an ethical thing to do.
No, we call that fair play. Because if you take one person's ad and you don't take the next person's ad, you get into trouble with your regulator.
Well, you don't agree with that person. You know that
you don't have to agree with the person. Armed robbers go to the hospital. You don't agree with what armed robbers are doing. But you have to treat them as a doctor.
Anybody doing that, taking the money and then not, that is wrong. Anyway.
You think what?
About that.
You think
wrong.
Oh. No. But away from the wrong, I'm asking: can we expect people who are hungry and poor to be dignified in the face of?
They should be dignified, and there should be. But it depends on their upbringing many a time. What they've been taught.
Okay, what they've been taught. Thank you for calling. 99.3. Hello. Sorry about that. Give us a call back if you can. Good evening. Hi.
Hello.
How you doing? What's your name, ma'am?
My name is Abiola.
Abiola, welcome.
Yeah. This thing has nothing at all to do with poverty.
Okay.
Lots of people in this country just want to collect money. Even rich people collect money in Nigeria.
Okay.
They collect money during voting.
Okay.
And the thing is that there's no voters enlightenment. I think the media should do more on voters enlightenment. Many people rely on parties, political parties. They don't know who they are voting for. They don't know the candidates. So the issue of ethics does not even come in for them. They just believe they are voting for a party, and these parties are stolen blind. So sometimes they think they are getting their money back. The money stolen from them is being given back to them. So is voters enlightenment, number one. Then number two, there should be, a form of more information on who the candidates are, so that people don't rely on voting for parties alone.
All right, thanks for calling. However, we're not talking about politics. We're not talking about voters. I told that story to tell you why we're talking about this today, but we're having a wider conversation about morality and ethics and poverty. That's the conversation we're having. If this was I beg to differ, a lot of people would lose points. The conversation we're having is whether we can expect somebody who is poor to be ethical. Can we expect ethical behavior, whether it's rejecting bribe, whether it's not, can we expect ethical behavior from people, 3 out of 5 of them, in the face of poverty? Is dignity in poverty a realistic standard? And to go back to what the caller called in to say about radio stations collecting ads, it's actually the ethical thing to do. Because number one, a radio station is not a human being. We're here to serve human beings. And part of serving human beings is ethical service. And part of that ethical service is to present all sides without judgment, so that you, the human being, can make your own judgment. That's why if you hear me on air, I'm not on the side of any politician. I'm not supporting Labour. I'm not supporting APC. I'm not supporting PDP. I'm not supporting YPP. I'm not supporting NMPP. You don't hear that from any of our presenters. Not Sheriff, not Jimmy Disu, not Ada Blessing, not the team on WhatsApp Lagos. You don't hear us say, oh, vote this candidate or don't vote that candidate. We are objective. We just present the data for you, present the facts for you, and then you decide. That's the ethical thing to do as a radio station. My personal opinions and biases don't come forward when I'm talking current affairs and politics and things like that. So it's very different from a human being who is struggling to feed in the face of money. Let's say money for your vote, for instance. Can we expect that that poor person would say, no, the ethical thing is, I'm not going to take this money? Is it realistic to expect that? 0700-993-993-993. Hello, thanks for calling. Sorry about that. Call back if you can. Good evening. Hello? Hello? Okay. All right. That's unfortunate. Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, this is Ahibwe on the line.
Welcome.
The word for a poor is the inability for someone to feed properly or malnourished. Poor that you cannot have your immediate requirement.
Mm-hmm.
That is why some foreign country make donation to other countries that are at war when their people are unable to feed and they are minorities. And then when you talk about Nigeria case, that poverty is an inconvenience. And to live in an inconvenience life, it deteriorates the thinking faculty of any man or woman. If poverty is convenient, Why do you have embezzlement? Those are the poverty of the brain too. To accumulate money against against other people's income. So the poverty we are talking about is the lower one. Hello, are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you. I'm here.
That somebody will not have this immediate requirement. Then the upper poverty is greedy poverty. They are, though they might be rich, they are under spirit of poverty too, ever accumulating, never satisfied. And therefore, once they accumulate, may be burnt out by fire, like the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. So it leads to extreme poverty in their lives. And God can turn that money to be against them, and therefore they become poor again and again and again.
All right. Thanks for calling us. 99.3, hello.
Yeah, good evening, Sandra.
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm fine, and you too.
Welcome.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
This will be my first time of calling your show.
Yay! Glad to have you here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to remain anonymous.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay, concerning the topic you raised this evening, see, in Nigeria we worship money. And because we worship money, everybody is looking for one way or the other to be benefited from such. And let me add to what Mother Aigbe said. See, majority Nigerians are poor in the mind, or poverty in the mind, let me put it that way. If I collected money last election, and I voted for that person that gave me money, as that money served me for the 4 or 8 years, what have I gained? So if I am to collect another one again for the first coming election, is it going to serve me again? I'm still going to be starved. I'm still going to suffer. So I would rather not even not collect such money and let me go hunger and vote my conscience. Because that money that I collected in the past is against my conscience. I have suffered enough. So for me, it's a no-no. So our employed Nigerians and youth should not even have that mind that they want to collect money. They should just stay away from them. They should distance themselves from such people and go ahead and vote their conscience.
Okay. All right.
That's my take.
Thank you very much for calling to share that take. You know, I wonder again, I'm asking again, is dignity in poverty a realistic standard? Some people say no. If somebody is facing a choice between corruption and starvation, you cannot expect them. You cannot expect, in capital letters, that person to choose starvation. Some people will choose their dignity, but most people will choose to not starve. They will choose corruption. That's just human nature. But some people say, yes, that every adult knows right from wrong. Everybody should be expected to do the right thing. Those people say no matter how poor a person is, they always have a choice to maintain their dignity. This is I beg to differ, Laito. I'm giving you two sides of the debate. So person A says dignity in poverty is not realistic because if somebody is facing a choice between corruption and starvation, you can't expect that person to choose starvation. Some people will choose starvation, but most people will not because that's just human nature. But the other people on side B, person B says, yes, I can expect dignity in poverty. It's realistic. It's a realistic standard. Every adult knows right from wrong. Everybody should be expected to do the right thing. No matter how poor a person is, they always have a choice to maintain their dignity. Two sides of the argument, two sides of the debate. What do you think? I reminded you at the top of the hour that 3 in 5 Nigerians are multidimensionally poor. Multidimensional poverty is when there are like different things that you should have as a normal human being in a civilized society, and you don't have it. You don't have, for instance, access to the internet. You don't have a smartphone. You don't even have a phone. You don't have a TV. You don't have a radio set. You don't live in a comfortable place. You don't have access to clean water. You don't have access to food. 3 in 5 Nigerians. So what we're really talking about is whether or not as a society we can afford to be ethical. Because there are real implications to this. For example, you hear about a domestic staff planning with kidnappers or armed robbers to attack their oga or their madam. Are we saying that, because the domestic staff is poor, let's just accept it? A lot of you who are listening say, no, now that one is kidnapping. Okay, what if it's not kidnapping? What if it's stealing money from their oga or stealing food? Do we accept that? Or let's say it's adding money to the bill when they send them to the market. Like my security man. My security man was finishing me when he had to buy me fuel in jerrycan for the gen. Is that just being sharp, or is it surviving? Or is it unacceptable? Unethical? Is it being sharp and, we they survive with the hustle? Or is that unacceptably unethical? It makes you wonder about this our being sharp mentality in Nigeria, doesn't it? It makes you wonder if that is a byproduct of poverty. If we were a richer society, would there be less tolerance for wuru-wuru where money is concerned? On the other hand, there are some poor societies all over the world where they don't accept wuru-wuru. So are ethics still possible in poverty? I want to hear your thoughts on this subject, but I want to give you time to really think about it. So let's take a break. It's a 4-minute break. When we come back from this 4-minute break, I'll take your thoughts. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, Ezekwesili on social media. You're listening to Hard Facts. Don't go away. Sandra Ezekwesili, let's keep talking. Should ethics be adjusted for poverty? Before the break, I gave you 2 sides of the same debate. And I asked you if dignity in poverty is a realistic standard. I told you some people say no, because if somebody is facing a choice between corruption and starvation, you cannot expect that person to choose starvation. Some people will choose starvation, but most people will not choose starvation because that's just human nature. Some people say, yes, you expect people to choose starvation. You expect people to know what is right from what is wrong. Everybody should be expected to do the right thing. No matter how poor a person is, they always have a choice to maintain their dignity. What do you say? And I gave you the example of some other countries where, even though they're poor, they don't accept wuru-wuru the way we accept wuru-wuru here. So are ethics still possible in poverty? And I said that I wondered really if our being sharp, this person a sharp person mentality that we have here, is it a byproduct of poverty? If we were a richer society, would there be less tolerance for wuru-wuru whenever money is in the conversation? Women call us on 01465-7190. Men call us on 0700-993-993-993. Hello.
Hello, Sandra.
Thanks for calling. Happy New Year. What's your name?
My name is Wendy.
Welcome, Wendy.
Actually, I just want my contribution is that poverty is really in the mind.
Okay.
And ethics has nothing to do with poverty.
Okay.
Because if someone is poor and then go and collect money he shouldn't collect, is just an excuse. Excuse of a character deformity. You know? Because if the person has a good character, of course he should be able to know that, look, this is wrong. And especially when the society, condemns it. Of course, not everyone in the society condemns it. But at least it's wrong, totally wrong. So I guess whoever does that, we need to do something about their character.
Okay. All right.
That's my contribution.
Wendy, thank you for calling to make it. 99.3, hello. 99.3.
Hello.
Thanks for calling.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir. Welcome, Prof.
Sister, there is dignity in poverty. Let me give you an example. 2012, when I was not having money, I passed. One guy passed. That one woman say, something lost for her house. I got to say, I don't become a person who pass something to me. Now what I say, Fika Chukudobiamo. I don't know. He said, Fika Chukudobiamo well for your life. That don't be me. Until the woman got to police, arrested the person. He was deported. 2007, there was a full immigration that caught Chancellor when he went wrong. They give him a bag of money, college. There was a woman that picked money in the airport, August 2019, and it's not collected. So there is dignity in poverty, and there is dignity in labor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling. 99.3, hello.
Good evening, Sandra.
Good evening, sir. What's your name?
My name is Victor.
Victor, what do you think?
Okay, Sandra, there is dignity in poverty.
Okay.
You can do without it because, as you said, it is now a norm in Nigeria that if you are poor and you have an opportunity to do somebody that you're sharp and all that, that God have your bread. No, that is deepening yourself into poverty. And that means to say that even if you have that money, you will still be committing such crimes. So for me, if I don't have anything and I have the opportunity of stealing from somebody, or I have somebody's, let me just say, briefcase that is full of money, and then I did not return it, that means I'm deepening myself into poverty. It might not affect me directly, but my generation is in poverty.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Victor, for calling. Let's take another call. 99.3. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing? What's your name?
Hello, Auntie Sandra. Good evening.
Good evening, Ma. What's your name?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Welcome.
Yes, there is dignity in poverty.
Okay.
Yes, because it depends on how you were trained. Thank God I came to the world when our grandmother this and we were not touching anything. Even if I see your 1 million here, I will not take it, I will pass.
Okay.
Yes, because there is reward from God for me for that.
Okay.
Maybe another person will come and pick it, or the person who owns it will come and see it and say, this woman doesn't want money, and see what she's wearing. There is dignity in
poverty.
Poverty. Okay. I am a poor woman, and I like it because nobody will come after me. Yes. Okay. Nobody will come and say, hey, see, there is dignity in labor and poverty. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for calling, Ma. Okay. You know, it's interesting that she took it to God because I just remembered a Bible verse, a Bible passage that I want to share with you. Proverbs chapter 6, verses 30 and 31. It says, men do not despise a thief if he steal to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. But if he be found, he shall restore sevenfold. He shall give all the substance of his house. End quote. Basically, what that passage is saying is, if someone steals because of poverty, we should not hate them or call them wicked, but we should still punish them and make sure they pay back, even if it means bankrupting them. So interesting that Victor called and said what he said. Do you agree with that Bible passage? For those of you who are not religious, if as a non-religious person, it means that you're not afraid of heaven or hell or death or any of those things. What keeps you ethical? If you were not afraid that there's a God and there's, devil and there's hell and, all of those things, what's your incentive to be ethical when you're poor? Is there incentive for you to be ethical while being poor? I really want to hear your honest opinions about this. Do you agree with that Bible passage that says if someone steals because of poverty, don't hate them, don't call them wicked, but still punish them, make sure they pay back, even if it means bankrupting them? How much ethical behavior should we expect from people in the face of poverty? 99.3, hello. Thanks for calling. What's your name?
Okay, so this is my first time. My name is Ade.
Ade, welcome for the first time.
And I'm so thrilled to be hearing your voice, Sandra.
Oh, yay. Welcome, Ade.
Okay, so the thing is, there's a standard for everything in life.
Okay.
That is it.
Okay.
And it's just how the world has evolved. If you were to ask this question, say, maybe 20 years ago, 100 years ago, the answer would be, it is not ethical for a poor man or a rich man or any man of any class to take bribe for anything. So the thing is that the world has gotten worse. How do you say it?
Has gotten worse. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and it's gotten worse. And if we keep rationalizing evil behavior, we'll just not get it right. So I personally think that it is unethical to accept bribe for anything at all, whatever situation that you may find yourself. And if we actually go the route of the Word of God and the Bible, it's very clear. One of the reasons why persons didn't do certain things was because they actually had a fear of God. Like I won't do these things because I fear God. Not fearing as per being afraid, but a reverence for God. You know, so we can't actually take God out of most of these things, especially when it comes to morals or a standard. There is a standard for a lot of things. And I really hope that the media will keep speaking about morals, keep educating the minds of people about necessity to be honorable, in whatever situation that they find themselves. So that's just my own 2 cents. I've been wanting to come for a while. And I'm so glad that I did.
I'm glad you did as well. Thank you for calling today and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, madam.
We hope you call again. 99.3, hello. Hello. Thanks for calling.
Yes, Sandra. Hi, this is Alex.
Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, Happy New Year to all our callers. I actually thought I had done that a few days ago when I called. I realized I hadn't. And Happy New Year to you, Sandra. You see, I think a lot of us do not understand poverty in the real sense.
Okay.
Look, you've listed out all these things that make up this multidimensional poverty, right? And interestingly, you agree that these to escape all of these things, the more ethical you are, the more likely you are to achieve that. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Okay.
You're not going to look. There's not enough transport, or maybe bad transport, bad roads, no light. Those are not things that you overcome by stealing some millions of naira from the national treasury. I don't know if you get me, Sandra.
Okay.
Yeah, the roads are. Let's talk about our poor hospitals or poor educational standards. No pipe-borne water, all those kind of clean water. You know, those are not things you solve by stealing, like the accountant general kind of type of people.
Money.
It's not things that you solve by stealing physical cash. It's by pursuing ethical, that is global ethical, standards that a society can achieve those lofty goals. They're like lofty goals. So I think people need to understand. It's because of the corruption that is endemic in our system that makes people think that you have to steal. You really have to steal money to be a better, place yourself in a better social, position in life. We need to understand the issues. You don't have to. It's not cash that would bring you out of those things. Look at it now. It's not cash, Sandra. You don't understand.
I'm listening to you. I'm just listening to you.
Yes, people should stop focusing on the cash, and that's why there's so much corruption in our public service. Stop focusing on the cash, and that's why our leaders, those people, those like former governors who acquire so much and then they still get so much in pension. It's not like that. Instead, channel back your pension to social projects and let the society pay you dividend. Do you understand me? Instead of the man buying 2 houses or in Abuja here and there, channel it back to society for social infrastructure projects. The society will pay you dividends for using your resources to make society better. You see?
Alex, thank you for calling. 99.3, hello.
Hello,
good evening, sir. What's your name?
It's Leke from Chagan.
Leke, what do you think?
Hello?
What do you think, Leke?
Okay, for me, is it possible to,
is it realistic to expect? Is it realistic to expect a poor person to be ethical?
Yeah, it's possible.
No. Yes, it's possible, but is it realistic?
Yeah, it's realistic.
Okay.
It's realistic. It just depends on individual and at times your level of your understanding and knowledge. But
okay. When you say your level of understanding and knowledge, what do you mean? Leke? Oh, that's unfortunate. Give us a call back if you can, Leke. 99.3.
Hello.
Thanks for calling. What's your name, sir?
Hello. Good evening, Sandra.
Good evening, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. This is Don Dupe from Savoy.
Welcome. Go ahead.
Thank you. I've been listening to you. You understand? So that's a very nice topic. You see, before I talk of multidimensional, I want to say that this matter of dignity or having respect is something is in the blood. You understand? Just in the blood. It's just natural. It depends on where you are coming from.
Okay.
It's not a matter of whether you are rich or not. I was talking to somebody one day. Then we were talking about politics in a friend shop. Then he told me, do you mean that if I'm giving 2 million naira to sell my vote, what will I do? Would I not collect it? I laugh and my friend laughed. Then he called that boy aside. I told him, you don't know the person you're talking about. You don't know the business you have done this year. You don't know the transaction you have done. You don't know his children that is in the school. They're very. I don't even talk about listen to them. You understand what I'm saying? That's number one. Number two, multidimensional poverty is multidimensional. Just the way English says it. It depends on the kind of poverty where you are. That means poverty is different stages of poverty. There are some people you will give any amount to give to them. They will look at you. Bribe them, they will look at you. They'll just look at you and laugh at you. No money, no amount of money you give to them or you bribe them that will move them, that they'll just look at you and say, you don't know what you are doing. So that is what I'm talking about. We still have respectful people in this country. Okay. We still have respectful people in this country. People that have dignity, people that have respect, people that know what they are doing in their field of where they are working. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
So forget about whether it's not cash flow, it's not money, it's not money, it's just where you are coming from.
It's just where you're coming from. Thanks for calling. If you just tuned in, should ethics be adjusted for poverty? Is it ethical? Is it realistic to expect 3 out of 5 Nigerians who are affected by multidimensional poverty to be ethical in the face of corruption? If there are 5 of you listening to me right now in a car, in a bus, in an office, in a hotel, in a reception, wherever you are, there's 5 of you, 3 of you are affected by multidimensional poverty. So you don't have access to money, you don't have access to great education, you don't have access to basic infrastructure. That's what multidimensional poverty means. And Nigeria has 63% of people like that. 3 out of 5 people affected by that. How much ethical behavior should we expect from people in the face of poverty? Is poverty, dignity in poverty, a realistic standard? That's the conversation we're having today. And it's a conversation we'll continue after the news. We have 15 minutes after the news, and we'll keep talking about it. Here's a message on WhatsApp from Dare. Dare says, whoever steals in poverty will do the same in the midst of wealth. Stealing is an innate tendency. Poverty may only catalyze it, but it will manifest anyway. Our politicians are typical examples. Dare, thank you for your message. Divine in Ikorodu says, Sandra, Proverbs chapter 6 verse 30 to 31 is punishment for the poor. What about those that are above average? What is their punishment? Because Nigeria today is a reflection of the rich that are never still satisfied. Is there ethics in the state of the Nigeria's rich people too? Divine. There should be ethics everywhere, right? But at least with rich people, if they're stealing, you know that one is greed. That one is just barefaced greed, right? With poor people, it becomes does it become a more nuanced conversation? If the person is poor, do you start to make excuses when they steal, when they accept bribes? Or do we just simply have the same standard? Say no to corruption, whether you're poor, whether you're rich, whether you're facing starvation, whether you have multi-million dollars somewhere. Just do the ethical thing, do the right thing. More messages here on WhatsApp. The question is simple. We all know that most poor people throw ethics into the trash to obtain any economic or monetary benefit. This is something we all see and experience. So why should we expect the poor to always be ethical? I'm not saying it's possible, but most times they won't be ethical, especially in a country like Nigeria, where the bad economy fuels this culture and lack of ethics has become the norm. Collins in Ikorodu with that comment there. We've got a message here. It's a very long message. Oh my God. Am I supposed to read all of this? Am I supposed to read all of these things? Chineke me. Sandra, I believe many Nigerians are not ethical, and I have experienced it with the rich, not only the poor. Do you know how many companies are telling the public they offer a particular service for a charge? Well packaged, but they never offer those services they claim. It's terrible. It's not only related to poverty, rich people are worse. Again, this is not a battle of rich versus poor. This is a very specific conversation. So let's keep it there. We've got more messages here. OVA Emma says, poverty is not an excuse for moral decay. One can be poor and still have integrity. This message is from Oluwole Crowder. He says, majority of the people who cannot maintain dignity in poverty are not even listening to you. Do you expect billions of women and children in IDP camps to maintain dignity in poverty? No. So a politician who says people should collect their money was right. Oluwole Crowder with that message there. Thank you for your message. Sandra, the aspect of poverty has different types. We have poverty of the mind and we have physical poverty. Dignity is the variable that will determine whether to accept a bribe while being poor or not. Hope you know that there are some rich people that don't exhibit dignity towards poor people. Example, a rich man goes to the store to buy something, avoids paying for his bills just because he wants to be smart. What should we call that? Finally, free will is what determines dignity to be perceived to be good or to be bad. That's a message from Sean. Sean, thank you for your message. We've got more. Yomi from Mirokola says, Sandra, it's possible. It depends on who you were and what you represent or stand for. Will that little token solve the problem at the moment? I received messages on vote for so candidates and get 69,000 naira, but I ignore it, though there is poverty of the mind. Yomi with that message there. All right, Yomi. Ade from Ikorodu says, sincerely, dignity is an expected virtue, even for the poor, and it's very realistic. But what do you do if people who are ahead of you and that you look up to have collected before it gets to you? Where are the mentors on dignity? Great question, Ade. Thank you for your message. We've got God's Power who says, ethics cannot be changed for principles or morality. It is wrong to collect money to vote politicians. Sandra, if anybody is using poverty as an excuse, that money will not solve poverty, but increase it, because politicians are what they are. God's Power, thank you for your message. Harrison from Satellite Town says, why is it that the countries with the lowest crime rate has less poor people? Why is it that we have less people in prison in more developed countries like Netherlands, Norway? Why is it that the countries with the most crime rate are the poorest? Even in Nigeria, the states that have the bandits and Boko Haram are the poorest states in Nigeria. There's a link between poverty and crime. If someone is poor and is in survival mode, something will have to give. The longer one remains in poverty, the lower their chances of being ethical. Expecting ethics from the poor is unrealistic. Harrison, thank you so much for your message. Femi from Dallas says, I'm in the car with my family of 5. Driving to a destination and we're listening to you, and my wife is smiling, saying we are affected by multidimensional poverty. Femi, thank you very much for sending your message in. We're going to take a break. When we come back from this break, we're going to keep talking about this after the news at 6, so don't go away, because the news is coming up at 6 o'clock sharp. Once the news is over, you and I, of course, will keep having this conversation from 6:15 until 6:30. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, Ezekwesili everywhere. Don't go away.